Good day. This is Clarissa Cassandra Concordia, and here's my self reflection on the group term project that we made. So, for the content of my report, I'll be discussing some of the contributions that I did in order to have a successful term project, and then the tasks that were assigned to me, and lastly, some suggestions that I think might improve the project if I would be given the chance to re-implement it. Now, before that, let's have a background here first. So basically, our project entitled Safe Zone is an advocacy campaign. It aims to raise HIV awareness and promote the use of pre exposure prophylaxis. So these are the things that we did over the course of the the timeline that was provided. It was provided. So first, we had a social media campaign. From April 15 to May 5, we published a series of information and educational campaigns on the basics of HIV and its prevention. So we made a Facebook page which was specifically dedicated on posting publication materials about the basics of HIV, the symptoms and early signs of HIV, how it is transmitted from one person to another, and of course, the treatment or the combination treatment. Now, for the second one, we also did some partnerships with certain HIV advocates and youth organizations, such as the Ayat Advocacy and the Lakan Network. And lastly, we had a culminating activity, which is a webinar. So here we invited the heads of these HIV youth organizations as our resource speakers. So, in that webinar, our speakers were able to provide a discussion about having responsible sex. And of course, we were also taught about the combination prevention method. Now, for my specific contributions. So, basically, I was one, or I proposed having this topic. So I thought that maybe there is a need for us to highlight the use of the pre exposure prophylaxis or the PrEP as, as a preventive way to or to prevent contracting HIV. So aside from that, Mm, there have been a lot of organizations and HIV testing facilities that are promoting the use of PrEP. However, I think that still most of the people are not aware that PrEP exists. So it is high time that we contribute to the discussion by providing our own IEC. And of course, I also mentioned that the treatment or addressing the HIV epidemic is part of SDG 3, which is to ensure that there are or there is a healthy life or healthy well being for all. Now, aside from that, I also contributed on the design of the logo. So when we were deliberating about the logo, someone suggested the use of the here, this one, the red ribbon, which represents HIV. So I thought that, oh, maybe we can use that, and or maybe we can use the red ribbon instead of the letter O for the zone. So hence, we were able to talk about how our logo should look like. And aside from that, I also participated in making the um, Facebook post. So on the first photo, I was the one who, oh, on these two photos, I was the one who provided the text for the PubMat as well as the caption for the Facebook post. And last but not least, I also took the minor job on creating some social media posts, specifically on promoting the webinar and, of course, introducing our speakers. Now, for the tasks that were assigned to me, first was to research and to provide the present statistics of HIV/AIDS cases in the Philippines. So, using the data that I found from the Department of Health, here I was able to know the percentage of males and females, as well as the age group of people living with HIV or AIDS. So I also researched on the geographic location of people who are living with HIV and found out that NCR, Calabarzon, Central Visayas have the highest rate of HIV cases. And last but not the least, so I was also able to search on the mode of transmission of HIV. Now, for the second one, I also helped in identifying the four P's of social marketing campaign. And of course, this is very crucial in ensuring that our objectives are as specific as they can be. So, for the product, we've identified information and dissemination surface, specifically on the HIV/AIDS epidemic, and of course, the correct use of PrEP. Now, for the price, we identified time and effort for webinar, pre-testing, post-testing, conducting echo sessions, and of course, having interview or discussion sessions. Now, for the place, we use social media, specifically Facebook, for our IEC, as well as conducting the webinar. And lastly, for the promotion, of course, we promoted our event through our social media page. Now, here are my suggestions to further improve the campaign, or if I were to given the chance to implement this campaign on my own, then these are the things that I will do. First is to market the product, not just the idea. So, of course, there have been many campaigns to raise awareness of HIV, and many organizations already do this. But as I said earlier, I think what we need is to highlight the need for using PrEP, okay? Because, first of all, many people do not know that PrEP exists. They do not know that it is given free at certain testing facilities. So I think if we focus more on marketing the pre exposure prophylaxis and not just helping people understand what HIV is, then perhaps our social media campaign may be more specific and, of course, it can contribute to the discussion about the use of PrEP. Now, for my second suggestion, I strongly believe that it would be a lot better if we linked with existing organizations. So, to maximize the reach of our social media campaign, I think it would be very beneficial for us if we had already partnered with existing organizations and testing facilities such as Love Yourself Inc., Sale Clinic, and other organizations with the same advocacy. So, of course, we can build or we can have shared resources for our communication materials. And in a way, somehow, maybe we can be a vessel to amplify their advocacy. Now, for the third one, so I want to really specify the audience. So in our social media plan, we intended to reach out to people who are aged 15 to 35 years old. Basically, because statistics says that those are the people who have the highest cases of HIV. Now, as for the geographic location, so we also identified people living in the mentioned location like NCR, Region 4, Region 3, as well as Region 11. So for me, I think it will be better if we specify a certain audience, a group of people. For example, what if we partnered with a university in one of those regions. For example, one university in NCR, and then we conduct IECs and webinars. And I think in that way, we'll be able to measure whether their knowledge about HIV and PrEP has increased. And of course, maybe we can also quantify whether there is a change in the number of enrollees of PrEP. Now, as for my last suggestion, I think it would be also best if we personally send invitations to our uh, target audience. So, for the social mobilization plan, we thought of working or collaborating with student leaders as well as SK chairman. So, mhm, I think it would also be impactful if we invited them to participate in our webinar. So, in that way, somehow we can also implement our social mobilization plan. So, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this is Carissa Concordia, and have a great day.